Hi, I'm Noel, and welcome to Unit 3 in Anatomy and Physiology. In this unit, we shall discuss the urinary system. We shall look at the organs of the urinary system and their function. We shall proceed and look at process of urine formation, and we'll end this discussion by looking at physiology of micturition. Let's start by defining what a system is. A system is a group of organs working together to perform a specific function. The urinary system is the major excretory system of the body. The principal function of the urinary system is to maintain volume and composition of body fluids. Other organs also contribute to the role of excretion. The lungs of the respiratory system excrete carbon dioxide and water. The skin is also another organ that contributes to the law of excretion. The skin excretes sweat through sweaty glands. The liver and the intestines, they also excrete bile pigments that accumulate in the body as a result of red blood cells destruction. However, the major role of excretion still lies with the urinary system, and this is because if the urinary system fails, these other organs are inadequate to take over the role of excretion. Having talked about that, let's move on and look at the organs of the urinary system and their function. So what is an organ? An organ is formed from group of tissues, and a tissue is formed from group of specialized cells. And a cell by definition is a structural and functional unit of a living organism. So, organs of the urinary system. The urinary system consists of two kidneys, two ureters, a urinary bladder, and a urethra. So in the kidneys, this is where urine formation takes place. The ureters carry urine away from the kidneys to the urinary bladder. The urethra carry urine away from the urinary bladder to the outside. So the outer internal structure, this structure here, is known as the renal cortex. So the renal cortex consists of the glomerular capsule, the proximal and distal convoluted tubule. Another structure we can talk of is this structure. This triangular structure. This triangular structure is known as the medulla. So the medulla consists of the renal pyramids. Okay, so the renal pyramids is formed from the collecting duct and supporting blood vessels and nerves. There is also another structure, this structure here, the one in white. So this structure is the cavity inside the kidney. So this structure is known as the renal pelvis. So in the renal pelvis, this is where urine is deposited after being formed from the nephrons of the kidney. Okay. So other structures we can talk of, these structures appearing like a cup. These structures here. These structures are known as the calyces. These calyces collect urine and deposit urine in the renal pelvis. But the calyces are divided into two. We have what we are calling the minor calyces and the major calyces. So the minor calyces are these structures. The minor calyces are these structures, okay, collecting urine from the medulla, okay. But when they merge, when they join together, they form what we are calling the major calyces. Okay, so when these merge, they form what we are calling the major calyces, and then the major calyces deposit urine into the renal pelvis, which is the cavity inside the kidney. Let's move on and look at the functions of the kidney. The following are some of the functions of the kidney: fluid and electrolyte regulation. The kidney excrete excess fluids and electrolytes in urine. Blood filtering and waste products excretion. The kidney excrete waste products such as urea. Urea is the byproduct of the liver. Urea is formed after the breakdown of proteins. After the breakdown of proteins, amino acids will be formed, which will be converted into ammonia, and then ammonia will be converted into urea. Another waste product the kidney excrete in urine is creatinine. Creatinine is the byproduct of the muscles. So creatinine is formed due to muscle contraction and muscle relaxation, also muscle growth and muscle damage. Because of that, creatinine will be formed. Okay. Another function is urine formation. So urine is formed after filtering of waste products such as urea, creatinine, excess fluids, ions, and many more. So this will form urine. Okay. Hormone production. So the kidney also produce hormones like erythropoietin and calcitriol. So erythropoietin, this is the hormone that stimulates production of red blood cells, and calcitriol is the hormone that initiates calcium absorption. Okay. The last function we have is regulate blood pressure. Okay. So the kidney regulates blood pressure by one, excreting excess fluids in urine. The kidney also produces an enzyme known as renin. So this renin initiates renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. So this system increase blood pressure. So those are some of the functions of the kidney. Let's take a look at the anatomical structure of the nephron. So the nephron is a functional unit of the kidney. The cortex and the medulla is the functional tissue of the kidney, and the functional tissue of an organ is known as the parenchyma. Okay, so the nephron is divided into two parts. So we have what the first part is known as the renal capsule. So this is the area of filtration, and this part here is another part of the nephron known as the renal tubule. Okay, so the renal tubule, this is where reabsorption and excretion takes place. So those are the parts of the nephron. So what's the function of the nephron? So the nephron perform roles of filtration, reabsorption, and excretion. So those are the three roles the nephron perform. Okay. Process of urine formation. There are three processes that are involved in urine formation. So blood flow from the aorta through the renal arteries and into the kidneys. Okay. So in the glomerular capsule, this is where filtration will take place. Okay. So in the glomerular capsule, this is the area of filtration, and this is because there is a difference between blood pressure that is in the glomeruli and the glomerular capsule. Because of this, filtration will take place. Okay, so waste products and excess materials are removed from blood and into the glomerular capsule. So uh, waste products such as urea and creatinine and excess materials such as fluids and electrolytes. Electrolytes like potassium and calcium are removed from blood and into the glomerular capsule. Okay, so the next process is tubular absorption or selective reabsorption. So this process happens at the proximal and distal convoluted tube. This is where the body reclaims, okay, some materials from the filtrates. So these materials are still needed by the body. So these materials include uh, water, glucose, and the materials that will remain in the renal tubules are the creatinine, urea, and other uh, waste products. Okay, so the last step is tubular secretion. Okay, so this is where uh, waste products that remained in the uh, blood streams are secreted back into the renal tubules. Okay, so uh, secretion is controlled by the loop of Henle. Okay, so waste products that are excreted back into the renal tubules are creatinine and creatinine, urea, and um, excess materials such as the water and electrolytes. So they are excreted back into the renal tubules. So that's all about the urine formation. Physiology of micturition. So micturition is just the process of urination. Okay, so the urinary bladder receives urine from the kidneys. The stretch receptors uh, detect filling, and signals will be sent through the afferent nerves. So these afferent nerves are known as the sensory nerves. So the information will be sent to the spinal cord, okay? And then the efferent nerves will cause contraction to the muscles of the bladder. These efferent nerves are known as motor nerves. Okay, so this process is coordinated by what we are calling the bones of the brain, which are found just above the medulla oblongata, okay, in the brainstem. So, uh, when the bladder smooth muscles contract, the internal urethral sphincter relaxes, as well as the external urethral sphincter muscles opens in order to allow urine to flow to the into the urethra and to the outside. Okay, so that's physiology of micturition, and we are done with our presentation on the urinary system.